Good morning, respected judges and everyone here today. We are from Fortis, and today we are pleased to present our project titled APAI, or Academic Performance Artificial Intelligence. Our project focuses on addressing a critical challenge in information and communication technology multimedia. So let us begin. Before we start, I would like to introduce the team behind this project. First one, we have Abraham Daryl Jeremiah. Next, myself, Carlos Lee, as a team leader. Also, we have Jonas Ruben Tobias as our team member. And last one is Matthew Sukamto as our team member as well. Everyone, here is our table of contents for today's presentations.
Everyone, today universities worldwide face a silent crisis, which is the student retention. It's not only about grades, but it's also a complex mix of teaching styles, study strategies, and also student attitudes. And according to the Minister of Higher Education, over 17,000 students dropped out of public universities, with another 5,000 deferring their studies. This means that the massive loss of human potential and also the significant financial drain on institutions. This is the main reason why we create API, which is academic performance artificial intelligence. This is a system that was designed to identify academic decline before it actually happens and provide personalized guidance to both students and lecturers.
Next, our design specification for APAI. APAI have a specializations that predict and try to prevent academic decline before it happens using behavioral and performance pattern modeling. That's what the difference between APAI and another traditional LMS. Thus, APAI provides two different functions for lecturer and students. First one, we offers mark summaries feature for the students, AI-based note maker for the students, and AI-based study plan and suggestion for student and lecturer.
Okay, we move on to functionality. So the first function is student dashboard. It begins while student login into APAI system. The first features is Mark Summaries page. First, the system will collect data from grade, exam, tasks from database, and then it automatically generate the graph to make student know each performance in academic. Next feature is AI Note Maker. So it collect the material from lecture and ask input from the user, and then it will convert to structured notebook using the kernel method. Next, risk prediction. So it collect data and calculate the data based on the requirement mark. When the requirement is not met in one student, it will be notify the student at risk. Next, personalized study plan. So it collect data and risk prediction and classify every marks and generate the SWOT analyze as a student performance, and then it will be give the personalized study plan for the future. Next functionality is lecture dashboard. So it will be generate class analytics in the first features. It retrieves data from the database and then it filter based on the class code and material code. And it also automatically generate the performance for the course that the lecture taught. And then it all generate the graph of the class analytics. Next, dropout risk. So it collect data from the database which student is at risk, and then it will be notify the student, and also there's giving percentage of student who at risk. Lastly is AI suggestion. So it also collect data from the database and then display the score identifier, and the lecture will be given a suggestion by AI based, which learning method is more effective in the future.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our student prototype. So for the student prototype, first, when they're logged into the account and it's student account, we will bring them to the student dashboard. And in the student dashboard, we provided the mark summaries for the student itself. So it contains the overall average percentage of the marks, the module they take, and and the subject scores Also, we are including the performance graphic for the student. Next, we have AI note maker features that allows the student to attach and file. So the AI itself could transcribe, could hear, and could see the file and then make them into a note by a kernel note taking method. And then we have risk predictions that we do an input to the AI itself so it can count and determine and calculate to make sure whether it's fulfill the requirement of the marks, and after that it will say whether is it on a risk or not a risk to be dropped out. After that we have a study plan suggestions for the student, so it takes and data from the risk prediction as well and from the database. So after it calculate it will see and it will analyze SWOT analyzing, and it will provide the suggestions to how to improve the strength, how to maintain the strength, how to improve the weakness, and how to take the opportunities, and how to prevent the threats. Furthermore, we have a lecture prototype goal. So this is when the account is determined as the lecture account. So for the lecture prototype here, it contains the analytics of the average mark and the graph itself. Also, we have a check for the lecture to see which chapter that have improving or declining. Next, we have a dropout risk feature. For the dropout risk page, we provided a number of students that have been calculated on the high risk of dropout, and then we have additional features to notify the advisor. Next, for the assessment is the suggestions. So the lecturer will know what is wrong and what to improve for the next lecture class by analyzing the difficulty, the performance levels, and also the marks from the student itself.
APAI also proves that software don't need physical footprints to have a massive environmental impact. Firstly, our infrastructure is entirely based on Green Cloud, which is hosted on 100% renewable carbon neutral servers. We've also replaced heavy traditional software with sustainable security architecture using lightweight encryption that also protects data without draining power. Second, we also practice green software engineering. Instead of using a bloated standalone app, API actually uses the modular integration, which is directly plugged into the university's existing system to eliminate the digital waste and server duplication. And to further save energy, our heavy AI calculations like academic risk prediction are also scheduled for off-peak hours to balance the power grid. And finally, we also eliminate digital hoarding by automated data removal and also scalable downsizing. We ensure that once the student graduates, their data will be a zombie code, which wastes energies in the background. To sum it up, APAI is not just a tool for students, but it also is a blueprint for sustainable innovation.
So, what makes APAI different? While most universities use traditional LMS, those are essentially digital filing cabinets. They just tell you what happened. APAI is proactive engine. We provide predictive risk modeling, which means we spot dropout probabilities early. We provide intervention recommendations, so we don't just find the problems, but we suggest the fix, and adaptive planning, tell a study path based on behavioral patterns. By reducing dropouts even by a small percentage, a university can retain tuition revenue that far exceeds our subscription fee. We aren't just a software expense, we are a revenue protection tool. Now let's look at the economic viability. Our business operates on a scalable SaaS model. We've estimated initial development at 200,000 ringgit, covering the core AI development and security compliance. For the pricing, we offer three tiers: basic, premium, and deluxe, ranging from 50,000 to 250,000 plus annually, depending on the institution size. Our path to profitability is very lean. We only need three premium contracts to cover our annual operating costs and just four to five contracts to achieve full financial break-even on our initial investment. In a market with hundreds of institutions, this is a highly achievable target. So, how do we get there? Our strategy is twofold. The first one is direct engagement. We will be on the ground at higher education conferences, demoing the system directly to deans and administrators. And the second one is online branding. We'll leverage LinkedIn and webinars to position APAI as the thought leader in predictive education. Our long-term vision is clear. We'll start by saturating the Malaysian market, then move into benchmarking analytics across different faculties, and finally expand into Southeast Asian regional market.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our market analysis for APAI. We have target audience for approaching the university that has their own application and willing to enhance their accreditation in general. And also, we are have analyzing the consumer trends, which say that 70% of students globally use ChatGPTs. And for our competitor, it will be another edtech platform like Civitas Learning and EAB Navigate. Thus, we have our opportunities due to the consumer behaviors that depends on the AI in their daily life. However, we also have the risk, which we have to compete with another advanced edtech product without having a brand awareness for our product itself. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the references we use to support our arguments and our project here. And I would like to suggest for all of you to use APAI now. And we have several reasons why APAI is better than the traditional LMS. We don't want a data insight that show past credits, reactive alerts, tracks current performance, passive data access, have to manually detect the risk and generate email alerts. But here, APAI will over data insight by predict future grades, have a proactive alerts, fine assessment flow, personalized AI guidance, automated risk prediction, and not have to manually detect the risk. And also, we don't use the generic email alerts, but using the personalized support. That's all from us. Fortis, thank you.